them down, way down. According to Reuters, the White House was more concerned with the threat of radical Islamic extremism than white supremacist groups. Joining us right now is Congressman Emanuel Cleaver via FaceTime from Kansas City. Congressman, so we see what happened in Charlotte. Another person killed. We've seen what has happened all across the country with the black man who was killed in New York as he was walking down the street with a sword. And you hear these stories, and the Trump folks go, let's focus on those Muslims.
I think we have a sickness in the country right now. As horrible as the words were that fell from Donald Trump's lips, let me tell you what's worse, and that is cutting the funding that was set aside, initiated by President Obama. And the first thing is that, according to the New York Times, Donald Trump asked his staff on just about every issue, where was President Obama, so that he can go the opposite direction. So they're cutting funding, even though the Defense Department warned the president and the entire federal government, for that matter, months ago, that we could expect violence from right-wing, race-baiting hate groups. And if anything, this was the time for the president to come to Congress with an emergency request for funding. He came to us for an emergency request to build a $1.3 billion piece of a wall. So I think that, what he's saying is horrible, but I think it's important for us to also keep up with what he is doing, which is far more deadly than what he's saying.
And the fact that they were warned is what is important. And look, the president could have very easily spoken about this threat on Saturday or a couple of days ago, but he chose not to. In fact, he chose to coddle these white supremacists.
Well, the president has a hole in his soul, and it's so sad that he is giving comfort. And I was sick to my stomach in reading all of the praiseworthy statements made by people like David Duke on how great Donald Trump was for siding with them. But one of the things that I think is important, and you talked about it in your talk yesterday morning, one of the tragedies is that you gave us a charge, all of us, and I think the Congressional Black Caucus is ready. I mean, I think every one of us, maybe except one, would vote for to censure the president. But keep in mind, the president has already cut money to discontinue the training of people of lawyers in the Justice Department and HUD who actually go out and file charges against people using Title VI of the Fair Housing Act. So he very cleverly, and in some cases without public knowledge, he's doing little things to undermine equality in this country.
Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so very much.
Good to be with you. Thank you for your preaching.
All right. Well, somebody got to say it.